Freeport has approximately 1,000 that are approved, but can't be built yet until the water and sewer project that they've got going on is completed, which is expected probably by the end of the calendar year. There's probably 400 to 600 housing units right along 331 on east and west sides up near I-10 that are approved but can't go vertical until the water and sewer project is finished. And so these things are on the come for us and are very important to being able to provide the necessary facilities for the people that are going to come and work in the different jobs that are being made available.
If you can't write a contract on the back of your car on a Saturday night, then you don't know enough. All you have to do is show up. Just show up and you can succeed. Let's get to the point.
Okay, welcome everyone to another edition of To The Point. And today we have Bill Imfeld. He's the Executive Director of the Walton County Economic Development Alliance. So welcome, Bill.
Jeff, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you about economic development throughout Walton County.
Okay, that's awesome. One little small point, Bill, I found out Bill used to be with the FBI, right?
That's correct.
When was that?
It was up until 2000, but don't worry, I took your picture off the post office wall before I came down.
So we got a former FBI. Were you an agent?
Yes, I was.
Wow, yeah. Intriguing. That sounds really interesting.
25 years. And
wow.
Lots of things in lots of places.
So how do you go from the FBI to the Economic Development Alliance?
Well, I left in 2000. We were approaching mandatory retirement age, which is 57.
Oh.
Congress decided that at age 57, agents no longer had a steady hand and could shoot straight. So I was getting near that point. I had an opportunity to come to Walton County as the finance director for the county. And with my background in accounting, I took that and retired. I then did one tour as a county commissioner, and following that, I went into the Economic Development Alliance. There was a vacancy there, and knowing the players, knowing the city councilmen in each of the three cities, and knowing the commissioners and knowing the admin staff made it a lot easier to work on getting economic growth throughout the county. And there's some areas that we've called economic deserts because they didn't have the infrastructure necessary to support either housing or business development. And so we've been working on getting that corrected, and we've made some terrific strides. And we're looking at just a real great potential growth for the decade of 2020 to 2030.
That's really cool. I've been here since 2001, and it started the economic development of 331 up in Freeport, right? It happened back in, I don't know, 04, 5, and 6 maybe, and then it stopped.
Yeah, we had the housing bust that came along at that point in time, and a lot of the properties that were in the process of being developed went into foreclosure, and that put a halt onto it. Another thing that was an impactor for them, and which is being corrected now, is the need for water and sewer so they can support that growth. The city of Freeport's undertaking a multi-million-dollar project to upgrade water and sewer service along 20 and up 331 as far as the high school. At the same time, we're doing a $4.9 million project from Defuniak Springs on 331 from I-10 south for just over 3 miles. And it's going to allow all those places that have the ability to put in commercial and residential structures the opportunity to hook on to something that they need in order to have that work. The project coming down out of Defuniak Springs is probably about 2 months away from being concluded. There are already developments on both east and west side in the Veterans Lodge area that has a combination of training and affairs for veterans, some housing opportunities, and some commercial development with some big box stores wanting to come in up there too, making the verbal commitment to do it. On the opposite side of the street, underneath Zaxby's, is a place called Bay Springs. They've got a huge development of both commercial and housing, and not only single-family, but multi-family housing opportunities that is so needed for all the area to bring and have places for people to live. We know that, for instance, out in Mossy Head, we've got an industrial park, and probably 80% of the people that work in that industrial park live in Alabama and have to travel down every day from Alabama because there's no housing developed out there yet. Some of the infrastructure still needs to be put in place in order to make that happen, but that's what we're keyed on right now. Get the infrastructure in place so that we can take advantage of commercial development, manufacturing development, housing, and schools. All those things are important parts of the equation to come in.
Yeah, that's amazing. There's so much going on. So it seems like everything is perfect, though, for the development of that area because the prices in Destin and 30A are so high, right? Affordability. People want to move away from all of this traffic.
That's true. And one of the things when I took the job in 2016 is they said, below the bay, we've got all of the tourist stuff that's taking care of itself. Those kind of facilities, they come and go, the restaurants, the hotels, and the traffic, it's all down there. But we want you to help us not have another oil spill problem where everything shuts down. So develop above the bay so that we can get diversification and have a solid base so that if something happens to tourism, we can still sustain a very viable county. And that's what we're working on. So, for instance, in Mossy Head, the industrial park out there, 350 acres, we've got 13 companies in out there. Most of them are distribution related. So that's a great opportunity. I mean, the trucking and the rail system that goes through there is great for maintaining that for the future. In Defuniak Springs, as this water and sewer comes in with the commitments we've got for diversification of commercial development and some light manufacturing, it's going to provide jobs for that. In Freeport, we just had a California company decide to come and locate in Freeport. It's called American Metal Bearings, and they're a manufacturer of the bearings for the shafts, propulsion shafts of the nuclear submarines that the U.S., Great Britain, and Australia build. So they're probably going to be up and running in about 15 months. They'll be providing great technical jobs. They have high pay. And once they start to go vertical, we see that as an opportunity to lure their subcontractors, their vendors, and other defense contractors to come to Walton County and enjoy the benefits of relatively low costs of living compared to the other places that they currently are, and the great opportunities we have with schools. What there's going to be great opportunities in housing and the ability to get to all of the quality of life things that you want, whether it's hunting and fishing or what's going to the beach, golfing, all those things are right at your control within just a few moments' drive.
Oh my. So you just said so many things. I'd like to put a Keller Williams office in Freeport, quite honestly, to get in front of this. So what does that look like? Is there housings? Are you aware of the numbers, like how many houses are approved or subdivisions that are approved already?
Freeport has approximately 1,000 that are approved, but can't be built yet until the water and sewer project that they've got going on is completed, which is expected probably by the end of the calendar year. There's probably 400 to 600 housing units right along 331 on east and west sides up near I-10 that are approved but can't go vertical until the water and sewer project is finished. And so these things are on the come for us and are very important to being able to provide the necessary facilities for the people that are going to come and work in the different jobs that are being made available.
Okay, so you said the end of this calendar year, you expect the water and sewer to be
in Freeport along 331 all the way up to Owl's Head, which is where the high school is. Right. And probably by the end of the year, the project on 331 from I-10 into Defuniak Springs south for about 3.5 miles, that should be completed too.
And so when do you think the approval for homes would start, or what would that look like?
Well, I think the development orders are already in place for doing that. And it's key to getting that infrastructure that they need in order to go up. Okay. And one of the things that we've got to work on too, we know that the Air Force is moving a number of programs into Eglin Air Force Base. Ooh. And that's going to mean housing needs for both Okaloosa and Walton counties. We know, for instance, that they've started a program to move the hypersonic weapons testing program from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio down here to Eglin. They have a 5-year plan in which they're going to move 2,000 military and defense contractors and their families to this area in support of the testing program because it's the only test range in the country big enough to support the testing that's needed to be done. In addition, there's other programs not quite related to hypersonics that are coming into Eglin Air Force Base. So there's going to be a continued demand over the next 2 decades for more and more housing in the area, in the northern part of the county, and more as we get towards Mossy Head, which has the opportunity to develop. It just needs to get the little kick in the pants to go to get the housing going there. And I know the county is working on making sure that they can get all of the infrastructure they need in order to make that happen.
I called a few builders up there, or former builders, to see if they'd be interested in building some homes because I've got some lots up there. And they're so busy right now, they can't do it.
Yeah. One of the things that happened when Tyndall Air Force Base decided to get rebuilt after Hurricane Michael, and they're going state of the art, they put out contracts for the quality builders in Okaloosa, Walton, Bay County, Holmes County. Come work with us. We will guarantee you work for 3 years at a high pay, give you a place to stay down there while you work down there. And so a lot of our builders that would have been available are under contract down there, and they're staying actually down at the base where Tyndall is. I think when that program gets over in about another 2 years, you'll start to see an influx back in of builders being available. But in the meantime, it's a scarcity. The technical college up in Defuniak Springs, they are going gangbusters on providing programs for people in all kinds of aspects of carpentry and plumbing and electricians. Well, what they're finding that these programs which provide certifications, basically as soon as they can understand what a hammer's for, they're getting hired by contractors to come on down. So there is a pipeline, but to get some quality work going in there, we're going to need to get some of these ones back from Tyndall. But in the meantime, what you found out is exactly true, and that's what's exacerbating the problem in Walton County and Okaloosa County.
So we need builders.
We need builders. We need all kinds of tradesmen.
Right. Okay, that's awesome. So these homes, your anticipation is these subdivisions would begin going up next spring?
I would think that hopefully by the end of this calendar year, we could start to see ground being broken on them.
What is the website that people could go to find all this information out that you've described?
Well, we are at wcedafl.com, and it has some of the information and some of the links that are necessary. But it's so dynamic trying to keep up with all the things that are happening. We don't necessarily have everything about where they're going to be and when they're going to go, but as they get hooked on to the ability to have water and sewer and electricity. But they've already got electricity up and down. They got a natural gas pipeline that runs up and down 331 all the way from Defuniak down to the Gulf. So any industry or people that want to use natural gas for their heating or for any of their manufacturing facilities, it's there. That's a great benefit to have. So we're excited about getting all of the infrastructures together to make things happen in a positive direction for a long-term growth.
So you talked about some of these big box stores, and I know everybody that heard that would like to know, who are they? Well,
some of them are not on paper, but on verbal. And there's a grocery store. There is an equivalent of Costco. It's not Costco, but there's an equivalent of that is looking to go in there. There are some small manufacturing companies that would be building prefabbed homes. Looking to go in there. They're going to actually build the facility for the veterans, those that need help either with some job training or some education, or if they suffer from PTSD, to come in and get some help with that so that they can get back into the job market, that they can afford the homes that are being built up there, and that they can become more productive to society. And I mean, we owe a great amount of debt to them for what they've done for our country, and we need to get behind them and help them succeed and thrive as well.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. So I'm just trying to sort this all out. So you think before we started recording, you made some comments about the growth in the state and the number that the county was.
Dr. Robert Parrish, who is the economist for the Florida Chamber of Commerce, did a study for the decade between 2010 and 2020, and Walton County was the fourth fastest growing county in the state. They've done projections for every county for the 2020 to 2030 decade, and Walton County is again projected to be the fourth fastest growing county in the state. So within that short-term framework, if you call 8 years short-term, we know that there's going to be continued growth on both residences and jobs, the need for employees to come down here and work. Can't get everybody just keep traveling every day from Alabama, but we want those people to relocate here and become members of our county, and to provide opportunities for them, their children, education facilities. Russell Hughes, the superintendent of schools, has been great. He's on our board of directors for EDA. He keeps up with the kinds of jobs that we've got coming in so that he can make sure that the training programs for Walton County schools and the technical college are consistent with what our needs are going to be for the future.
So the schools will be able to handle this influx of people?
We're making sure that they've got the capacity for it. Now, fortunately, Walton County is a well-to-do county, and that goes for the school system as well. So they've been able to keep pace with the needs for the various growth areas of the county, and we would project that they would continue to do so in the future, especially as the economic base for property taxes, which is the value of homes, keeps going up and up. And obviously, you're all aware of home prices just soaring below the bay and above the bay now.
Yes, the affordability will be, and the interest rates, whatever's going on with that throughout the year. The Fed's announcing they're going to have additional rate increases, and I think they're going up almost every day, some a little.
You used a term that we try to avoid using. You called it affordable housing. We call it attainable housing because there's still a connotation that if you use the term affordable housing, there's something with that's just not right. But we want to make it attainable so that if you're a millionaire, you can attain a house that's very expensive. If you're entry level, you can attain a house that meets your needs. And indeed, if you are on food stamps and you need to get subsidized housing, that can come. I'm working with a county commissioner now and with the head of HUD in Walton County to try and find some areas where there can be some test programs to put in attainable housing for those that currently can't afford to get into it, but can. We also want to take care of our teachers, our first responders, and the military people that come in. They do a tremendous service for all of us, Okaloosa and Walton counties. We need to help them get it so that they can raise families in an environment that's healthy and is growing and provides all the things that they need to have a successful family life.
Wow. You gave us so much information. It's absolutely unbelievable. I don't even know how people can digest all of this. When we found out about that you were out there with all of this information and we didn't know it, and then we had you on one of our team meeting Zoom calls. It's the first time we had ever got to hear all of this. Is there a place, now we've described the website, Bill, but is there meetings that you have? It sounds like you've got this so covered, from schooling to education from the college level, vocationally. I mean, it's amazing what you've done with this.
Our EDA board meetings are on the first Thursday of every month at noon up at the county administrative offices. Our board consists of county commissioners, county administration, the three mayors from the three cities in Walton County, the superintendent of schools, and then we have three at-large positions that allow businesses or individuals from the community to participate. Meetings are open to the public. They usually last maybe a little over an hour, but we talk about things that we've got going on, contracts that are in the process. We get updates from the cities in particular that can tell you specifically what's being permitted right then and there for the growth so that you can keep track of the housing starts that are going to be going on, the building starts that are going to be going on, the status on the infrastructure. The cities themselves own the franchises for water and sewer. So we need to work with the city of Freeport in helping them with theirs. We need to work with the city of Defuniak Springs as they enhance their water and sewer capabilities.
Is there anything that could obstruct all of this, everything you just said? Is there anything that could prevent this from occurring, or is this for sure going on?
Well, the pandemic put a pretty hold on things, and I would hate to predict there'd be any other pandemics. I personally don't believe there will be, but you say, is there anything? And I hate to say nothing is out there that can do it, but I know that even on an economic downturn, so much stuff is already in progress. Right. And in particular, the military spending is going up, and up, no matter what the rest of the economy does. And we're tied in to not only Eglin, but also parts of Tyndall with what we've got going on. So that's going to be there. We have Site C6, which is part of Eglin. It's being given to the Space Force, and it's right off of 331, just beyond our Woodlawn Industrial Park.
Wow. So I don't see anything that could hinder this. You guys have your bases covered. Destin's so busy, 30A. Building-wise, building is going on everywhere. It seems like there's going to be has to be a movement that way, right?
Well, I mean, there's only so many spaces south of Walton, and so over the next 10 years, there's actually been a move. Freeport has been booming on what they're getting built, and the prices keep going up there. But when you get up to Defuniak Springs, the prices have gone up, but not as significantly as others. And then as we move up towards Paxton, going up 331 North, that'll be our future area to look for growth from a technical standpoint. We would look hopefully in the future to have a technical park put in where it's not necessarily distribution or manufacturing, but we can bring together high-tech jobs, AI jobs that can bring businesses together and schools and all the necessary support mechanisms that are needed in terms of even little things like grocery stores, barber shops, gas stations that need to support a community in that area.
Yeah, it's crazy how good you guys have done this. All right, Bill. So other than you gave us the website, right? WCEDAFL.com. How else could someone get in touch with you if they needed additional information?
Well, I'd be glad to share my phone number, which is area code 850-892-4859, or they can email me at bill@WCEDAFL.com, and I would be glad to respond to them.
This is amazing. If you're in real estate, you've got to take a look at Freeport and Defuniak for the future of Walton County, right?
Absolutely. We know the government's made the commitment to move the people out of Ohio, so they're coming.
Right.
Whether anybody else comes or not, we've got to be ready for them and their families.
We just had Bill Imfeld in the studio. He's the executive director of the Walton County Economic Development Alliance. If you want to know what's going to happen in Freeport and Defuniak Springs, 331 and north in the next 8 to 10 years, they have a plan that'll knock your socks off. You will not believe what's going to happen there. And if you're a real estate agent, which is the primary reason why I want all my guys and ladies here to be able to know this information, you'll be able to share with the people that are going to probably be getting jobs that are coming here in North Walton County, as well as over 1,000 homes that are already planned for the future. So you'll be able to share the truth and the facts of why people should move to or live in North Walton County with the preparation that's been made by our state and local government with Bill to make this dream a reality.